Hello and welcome to the ultra high definition function review of the Mossberg 500. You're looking at 26-inch barrel field model right here. Real quick, this is the pump action forend. This is the barrel right here. The chamber is located here. This is the bolt. This is the magazine tube, receiver, trigger guard, trigger, safety, the action lock lever, which we will discuss, and the silver part right here, you'll see this in action. This is the shell lifter or elevator, and here's the buttstock. And this is meant for people who want a quick refresher on shotgun function, or somebody who may be new to shotguns, who's shopping for a shotgun and they want to understand how this works before they go to the store to have a look at one in person. So real quick, we're going to safety check the gun, and we're going to do that by verifying that there's nothing in the chamber and that there's nothing in the magazine. First, we can check the magazine straight away. All we do is look in here. We can see there are no shell casings in here, just the magazine follower. It's this little black cylinder right here that is spring loaded. Now to access the chamber, which is this part right here, you can see it's blocked off by the bolt. We need to cycle the pump action. We do that, we have to unlock the pump action with something called the action lock lever. You can see that right here. It's this little button looking thing right here behind the trigger guard in this case. Some shotguns will have it in front of the trigger guard. So we're going to depress this, and that should unlock the pump action. Now as we pull this rearward, we can look into the barrel and verify that there is nothing in the chamber. There's nothing sitting on the shell lifter or elevator. So the gun is safe. And guess what? We're going to treat it like it's loaded because that is proper safety etiquette. So we're not going to point this at anybody or anything. Now, being sure to keep my finger out of the trigger guard, we're going to pull this pump action fully forward. And at this point, we're going to load the tube magazine right here. Today we are using something called snap caps. These are solid aluminum with a little plastic plug right here to absorb the shock from the firing pin so as not to damage the firing pin. They're called snap caps, but they don't snap. The only snap that you're going to hear is the hammer hitting the firing pin. That's all. So these don't make any noise. So when we insert these, notice the orientation. The rim starts with an R, and that's pointing rearward, all right? That little plastic circle right here is normally where the primer would be. That has to be in the rear of the gun, so that way, number one, it will fit in the chamber, and number two, the firing pin needs to hit that primer. So let's go ahead and insert these. There's one, and then there's two, and it's not rocket science. You just get it in the correct orientation and then push it forward into the tube magazine. This particular tube magazine is set up for 3 rounds. Now, the rounds are held in place in this tube magazine by a spring that retains them in that tube magazine, and that spring is located right here. Remember, the gun is upside down, so when you're facing the gun forward in this orientation, the spring is actually on the left side here, but when you turn it upside down, it will be on the right side here. And if you just take your finger and push this spring out of the way, it releases the shell that's in the tube magazine, and you can safely unload your gun. In this case, it's caught the shell lifter right here, so I have to lift it up a little bit, and then it will slide right out. If you do this with the gun in the proper orientation, lots of times these will just drop free. And there we have it. All right, so let's go ahead and load it up again. We already know there's nothing in the chamber. Now, let's say we want to put a round from the magazine into the chamber. That's what the pump action is here for. That's how we load, and that's how we clear our chamber. So the first thing we need to do is action lock lever. But before we do that, we're going to check the safety right here on the spine, the back spine right here. Red there's a rhyme, a saying that people have told me throughout my life. Red means dead. That's a warning. Red is the warning. The gun can be fired. When the safety is on, meaning you cannot fire the gun, you will not see that red mark. Okay, so to verify that, I'm actually going to pull the trigger, knowing there's nothing in the chamber. I can verify that the safety does work. Okay, so back to the action lock lever. The safety is on. We can safely transfer a round from the tubular magazine into the chamber. Let's do that. So I'm going to depress this action lock lever again, so the action can start to move. Now you're going to see the shell lifter right here move down, gather around. Can you see it right here? So this shell is just sitting on the shell lifter. And as we move the pump action forward, we're going to bring it forward smartly. You'll watch the round get pushed into the chamber. Okay, and again, you want to pull that forward smartly. Now, the gun is loaded. Obviously with the snap cap. Now, if we turn the safety off, which we're going to do, the gun will fire right now. It's in a firing condition. Now, I want to do this upside down for a good reason. I want you to watch the action lock lever as I pull the trigger. Okay? The action lock lever is automatically depressed by the firing mechanism, and that automatically releases the pump action. So after you fire a round, you don't have to worry about pushing this action lock lever. It does that automatically. All you do is pull rearward on the pump action and you can cycle your spent casing. So you can see it extracted the casing, and as you pull this further rearward, it will actually eject the casing. And at this point, you'll see another round sitting here on the shell lifter. And as we move this forward, I'm going to do it kind of slow here so you can see the action. It will load that into the chamber. Again, the pump action is locked until we pull that trigger, which I'm going to do upside down again. Then it unlocks the pump action and allows you to eject that second spent casing. Now, nothing is going to load into the chamber because we are out of rounds. We're going to turn the safety on, and the gun is clear. I hope this is useful to somebody out there. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe.